afternoon, Dr. Sawyer. Welcome to OPP Studios. We're here to ask you some few questions about what you are taking back home to Nigeria for the exploration business in Nigeria. I'm going to ask you some few questions, and we just want you to share us your views about what goes on back home.
Thank you very much, Kenny. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Henry Sawyer. I'm an environmentalist and with a very strong interest in waste management and environmental remediation. I have engaged Nigeria since 1991, and I must admit that it hasn't been quite an easy challenge. But my realization to the fact is that in order to be able to engage a country that you've actually departed for over a period of about 10 years, the dynamics of its social economic structure differs from an environment which you're used to in the United States. So when I got involved in 1999, the country was also going through a transition from a military rule to a democratic system of government, and I understood that it does take a while before the stability of a quite definition as to where the direction of the country is going. In my assessment at the time, the emphasis of the government was in stabilizing the political situation, and as well as also handling the greater part of the health industry. So meaning at that point that environmental emphasis, although may be of a serious interest to the government, but it just doesn't postures on the radar as being a very top priority. But that notwithstanding, as of 2000, the Ministry of Environment was created. We were engaged with the ministry, and subsequently I had the opportunity of being able to work as a foreign technical partner with an in-country company that was given an integrated waste management consultancy studies in Nigeria. I personally thought I should have taken advantage of that moment to relocate back, but also the challenges facing me at the time was a question of my young family in the United States, and at the same time, what do I do with being able to interface, leaving them behind and engaging myself fully in Nigeria. But nonetheless, I have continued and consistently continued to engage the country up to this present time. And with the second dispensation or the third democratic transition, I think there is some element of stability, but that is not to say that the country had actually finally arrived at the level of political and economic anticipation that those of us in the United States had expected. The challenges are quite enormous. I mean, I cannot really begin to list a number of them, but part of the challenges I will attribute to my expectation. My expectation initially was that I am returning back to a country where I was born, where I was raised, and I thought I had all the necessary understanding of how the economic as well as the business environments work. But I realized that coming from the United States, that our expectations and the modules of business operation here does not quite fit into the modality of how business exploration also works in Nigeria. But initially going in with that high expectation, I thought things were going to be on a fast-paced approach. But I also admit to the fact that internally, there is a whole different dynamics of business model which does not fit with our business model here. So it does take me a while to reconcile those differences and have to also constantly adjust my approach and expectation coming from United States to the approach and the deliveries of business execution or policy decision making in Nigeria. I think there's been quite a lot of accomplishments, and I want to express that gratitude. And I want to also say that to mention the accomplishment is also to emphasize on the tenacity. To date, I also have been able to succeed. Again, I constantly go in and work as a foreign technical partner, meaning that I allow those in the country who understands how the socio-political and the economic environment operates, and what I simply do is I engage them by providing them my own technical expertise. As I mentioned, I started off in environmental management service. And as I said also earlier, we were able to get a consultancy studies to conduct an integrated waste management studies for the Federal Ministry of Environment in 2000. In 2006 also, there was another bid that was actually brought up by the federal government, the outgoing administration, requesting for another build, operate and own integrated waste management facility. Through my technical relationship, we're also able to secure a contract in that respect that is cited for OTA. I've also been able to provide service to another in-country company that also have been approved by the Lagos state government to provide a waste-to-energy facility. But along the line, there's also been 2 or 3 proposals that have been written to about 2 states regarding waste management studies, whether it's in the recycling area or waste to energy. But along the line, I also had the privilege of also being requested to provide housing technology. And I was fortunate in being able to secure an exclusive strategic alliance relationship with an outstanding housing technology company, which again is receiving a very strong traction lately. Housing is a big demand in Nigeria. And so we've been able to secure the capability to provide an housing technology with a particular state in Nigeria, and we'll also be setting up the factory there. At the same token, there are also several other areas of interest that is actually being talked upon in the areas of providing certain technologies in the solar sector area, and also training initiatives for online educational program. So I haven't really taken all these engagements in the last couple of years. I believe that finally with this project currently taking off, I believe we're there, and so we should be able to at least start having some better traction. I guess 3 main things eventually summarizes what I'll call my principal focus. The first one was in the environmental and engineering service. I have also been able to secure a strategic alliance with a highly reputable American firm called Vector Engineering. And so we're setting up an office in Nigeria that will at least be able to look at engineering services in the oil and gas sector, in the ports and marine service area, environmental service, meaning solid waste, waste management, waste to energy, as well as pipeline and installation system. Again, I want to mention mining. So Vector Engineering does give me that strong capability, and the company has been registered in Nigeria, so we can at least not only provide what I call portfolio service, but now we're engaged in the country. In the aspect of housing, which is a very critical area, I've also been able to secure a partnership alliance with a company called Thiaco, which again is giving us a panel polystyrene wall housing technology, which also can enable a fast delivery of housing industry into the country. Now, when you look at the Vector service vis-a-vis the housing technology service, it really puts us in that forum where we can engage in an estate's development. And when you look at an estate development, you also have to understand that the totality of it really encompasses the aspect of ability to provide energy, meaning lights in terms of security, as well as water provision. Now that gave me a major issue when I was looking at the whole total component, and also we've been able to resolve that aspect by being able to develop a relationship with a company called KAD Technology. And KAD would be able to provide us solar energies that would at least enable our dependency on the conventional source of electricity by being able to use solar applications in various aspects of an estate development or even public uses. Then at the same time, KAD Technology also has been able to provide the capability to be able to drill into a borehole water system, because water provision and electricity, these 2 key components can really enhance the delivery of an housing industry. So those 3 technologies are within our holds right now, and then we've been able to at least have that relationship fully formalized. And I want to cap it up by saying the last one is actually online educational program with a company called BLR. So I feel that at least these 4 capable industries, their introduction into the Nigerian market would be in its own way our own minute significant contribution to the country.